Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is John, and I'm the founder of an indie game development company called Odysee Games. I just moved to the United Kingdom from the US, and I figured I'd take a little bit of time to tell you what it's like to turn a hobby into a business. And surprisingly, there's a lot more to it than just filing LLC paperwork with your state. Over the next few videos, I'm going to tell you what it's like to have a team of people working on a game at the same time. How do you handle people helping you with your project, and how do you pay them? Do you treat them as employees or do you treat them as contractors? Well, over the next few videos, I'm going to tell you exactly that.
Alright, so I got an actual mic for this part and not just talking into my phone. So first thing is deciding when you should make that leap from turning your hobby into a business. If you're in the US, there are some criteria you have to meet in order to not be a hobby in the eyes of the IRS. This applies to other things as well aside from just game development. But the criteria includes the time and effort you put into activity, indicating your intentions to make it profitable, whether you or your advisors have the knowledge needed to carry on the activity as a successful business, whether you're successful in making a profit in similar activities in the past, and several other factors as you can see here. Now, if you've made a game in the past and earned money from it, such as with the ad revenue from mobile apps on the Google Play Store, definitely easier said than done, you probably meet most of the criteria when it comes to the IRS looking at you as a business. We made our decision to become a business several months back after we made a few games and released them. We actually made a little bit of money on it. Granted, it wasn't a lot of money, but it was enough for us to take a step back and be like, we could do this. And so far we were right. Currently, we've been working on our new game, The Last Buccaneer, for about 2 months now, and we're just far enough into it to where I can start explaining what has and hasn't worked in terms of starting a game development company and making a game at the same time, because it was overwhelming to say the least. Once you decide to become a business, you need to plan for the expenses you expect to incur in order to build that game and to start that business. Building a game is free, but there are definitely going to be things that you're going to have to pay for, especially as your team and games get bigger. You need to be prepared. So let's go over that real quick, and we'll cover this in more detail in a video later on. Before we even started our game dev journey, we had to choose a game engine to use for making our game, and you will too if you haven't already. Now, there are many options out there in terms of game engines, such as Godot, Unity, Unreal Engine, Lumberyard, CryEngine, and a bunch of other options. For our game, we use a game development engine, Unity. It's a free program up to a certain revenue point that allows my team and I to create games in the most efficient manner possible. But that's what works for us, and that may not work for you. It comes down to preferences. So try out different game engines, see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But once you find the right one, do not change the game engines halfway through. Once you do that, then you have to learn the next game engine, and it's more important that you become an expert in the game engine you're using. If you understand your game engine, you can do anything with it. Unreal Engine isn't better than Unity, and Unity isn't better than Unreal Engine. It comes down to the user. Currently, for the game we're working on, we rely on a bunch of different software in order to make this game come together. As I said earlier, we use Unity. That's free. Aside from that, we're using Codex.io for project management. That's free. Plastic SCM for version control, Audacity for editing sound effects and audio, Blender for creating 3D models, Inkscape to make our user interfaces, and DaVinci Resolve for making game trailers. All the software is free. Up to a point, you're going to have to pay for it. And like I said, once you get a larger team and larger games, that's when you have to pay for it. But it's honestly not that expensive. Codex is like $6 a month. I don't know, it's in euros on their page. I'm American, I know dollars. And that's only if you have over 3 users and over 1 gigabyte of files. That's a lot of space. Plastic SCM is similar. It's $7 a month, where you pay that if you have more than 3 people, and that gives you up to 5 gigabytes of space too. Now, these aren't unreasonable expenses, and if you talk to an accountant, you may be able to deduct these expenses. They will help you to determine if the expenses are ordinary and necessary for your business. I'll also post some links in the description that will provide some good information from the IRS about business expenses as well. Just be sure to talk to an accountant. The last thing I want to briefly cover in this video is how do you treat those who help you? I'm not talking in the sense of being rude, but in the sense of determining whether the people providing services to your business, are they employees or are they independent contractors? For the game development industry, you'll really only be dealing with employees and independent contractors. You'll have to be very careful how you classify those who work for you. Now, there are a bunch of informal checklists you can find online to help you determine whether or not someone is an employee or an independent contractor. And those factors change slightly depending on the agency you're dealing with, right? The IRS is going to have something different than the US Department of Labor. I also expect this line between employee and contractor to get more blurry. I know Uber is facing issues in terms of, the government wants them to have their drivers be considered employees instead of independent contractors. So who knows? Contact a local lawyer, because even your state will have their own rules. Anyway, so I treat our games like a project, and projects, they're going to require different areas of expertise depending on the type of game you're working on. I personally aim to hire an independent contractor, and I will write out a very specific and detailed statement of work that needs to be completed. Obviously, there are contracts that you have to write up, but again, if you have a lawyer, that's what they're going to help you out with. There's even online places to get these types of contracts. I think LegalZoom or something has them, right? And then the independent contractor can do the task I have assigned for them, how they want to do it during the different times of the day they choose from anywhere around the world. And granted, it's a little more technical than that, but if you've never dealt with the statement of work before, and you want more information, let me know. I can go into more detail on that. I've probably written hundreds of them for previous occupations. Once the project is over and they've completed their task, they get the money, they go on their way, and now I'm starting to look for a different game to do and other people who are specialized in helping me for that specific game. I think that's where I'll end it for this video.
If you like what I'm covering, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll be making more videos related to running an indie game company and other topics related to starting your own business and making a game. We're going to talk about the project management aspect of it, how to find a team, and other topics related to actually being successful without spending money, because you don't need $1 million budget or even $1,000 budget to make a fun game that generates revenue. All you need is time and passion. Now, if you have any comments or questions that you want me to cover, be sure to put them down in the comment section, and